Here we go. Tesvav Amid Aleph. We're going to begin with a not like a chazara, but like the last shtickle. We're going to say again. We're in the middle of asking a question, and the question is, what is the machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Rameir? From our Mishnah, it seems the machlekes is there geziras tikra? Is there a gezerah? Rabbi Yehuda sounds like yes. Rabbi Yehuda sounds like no. Slicha, Shalom Rebelli, and Rabbi Meir. I don't know where she is. I don't know where she is. Rabbi Yehuda, Nachamon. Sounds like Rabbi Meir holds there is a gezerah and Rabbi Yehuda holds not. The question was if the previous Mishnah already said the same thing. So we tried one teretz that it's gezeras kelim. We shot that down. Now we're up to new teretz. We said this last night. But from here, we'll segue into the new Gemara. Ella al karchach. 2/3 down. First word of the line is atu kelim, rebelli erev tov. Ella al karchach. Now you already got your erev tov. That was Haley Gali Epstein. Ella al karchach reisha. Pligi b'gzeras tekra. Says the Gemara, the first case is gzeras tekra. The seifa pligi b'gzeras tekra. Everyone is arguing about gzeras tekra. What's the obvious kasha? V'fligu b'tarti zimna lamali. Why do you have to have the same machlokes 2 times? Says the Gemara. We'll explain why. And as we pointed out last night, it really brings out the whole sugya very nicely. Seifa Rav Yehuda de Ka'amar Leila Rameir. The Seifa, which is our Mishnah, Rav Yehuda is responding back to Rameir. Again, they already argued that Rameir said there is a gezerah. Rav Yehuda said there isn't. Comes along our Mishnah, and Rav Yehuda says to Rameir, Amaika Sarta bin Asarim. Rameir, what's the reason why you're telling me you're not allowed to use nisarim, you're not allowed to use planks for your sukkah? Mishom gezeras tekra. The reason must be it's a gezerah. But asks Rav Yehuda to Rameir, Hi Svara. This idea of the Gzeira L'Beis Shammai Udislay, that's only according to Beis Shammai, Ubeis Hillel Gazri. So Rabbi Yehuda is adding on that according to Beis Hillel, we don't hold of it. Meaning, the first time they argued, Rabbi Yehuda just said, Rameir, you're out to lunch, there's no Gzeira kultiv. Now Rabbi Yehuda comes back to the boxing ring, and he turns back to Rameir, and he says, Rameir, what are you doing? Beis Hillel doesn't hold like you. You're going with Beis Shammai. Now it's Ogir Shemak. Rameir's response. Ve'amar Rameir. What does Rameir respond? Loi nechliku Beis Shammai Beis Hillel b'davar zeh. Rameir's response is, Rav Yehuda, you got it wrong. There's no machlokes about this. Mamish, exactly the opposite. Everyone agrees there's a gezerah, and everyone agrees the only way to fix it is to take one out from between 2. End of the Gemara from last night. Says the Gemara, now we have a beautiful chazara from the sugya back in Daf Yud Beis. Oh, nichali Rav. If you remember, we had a machlekes Rav and Shmuel. Not Yud Beis, excuse me, Yudal and Alf. Machlekes Rav and Shmuel how to learn the Mishnah. According to Rav, he learned the machlekes is b'sheyish b'hen arba, when the planks are 4 tvachim. So everything is good. Why? The Rameir is like Gzeras Tekra. Rav Yehuda less like Gzeras Tekra. Perfect. Rav Yaakov, Erev Tov. Elam Lishmuel Damar. According to Shmuel that holds B'shein Bahem Arba Machlokes. According to Shmuel that holds, they're arguing when it's not 4 tfachim. But says Shmuel, Aval Yesh Ben Arba. If it is 4 tvachim, then what? Divrei Yaakov Psula. According to Shmuel, Seifa, in our Mishnah, B'mai Pligi. What is the machlokes in our Mishnah? Because according to Shmuel, Everyone holds that once there is 4 tfachim, according to Shmuel, everyone holds it is possible. So what's the machlekes in our Mishnah? What's Rav Yehuda saying? There's no gezeira. Rav Meir saying there's gezeira. What's going on? Everyone holds once in 4 tfachim. Everyone holds a tikra shein alav maziva should be possible according to Shmuel. Says the Gemara, you know what the machlekes is in our Mishnah according to Shmuel, which, if you're listening carefully, is really a second explanation as to how our Mishnah differs from the previous Mishnah. What was our old kasha that the previous Mishnah already argued about Gzeras Tikra? So what's our Mishnah saying? Says the Gemara, I'll tell you what it is according to Shmuel. This Mishnah is about Bibitule Tikra Kamiflagi, being Mivatel the Tikra. That Shmuel's of the opinion that once they're 4 tfachim, then it is possible. But the question is, what could you do to fix it? That's what's going on according to Shmuel. Bibitule tikra kamiflagi. Mar savar bala behachi. Rav Yehuda holds its bottle like this, which is that's how Rav Yehuda, the Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai argue. Umar savar and Rav Meir holds behachi loy patla. So it's a little bit of a fine nuance in the machlekes. It's not just arguing whether there is a gezerah or not. Erev Tov, Rabbi Rosenthal. Not just arguing whether there is a gezerah, but rather the answer is, how can you get out of the problem? How can you be mevatel the tikra? Rav Yehuda holds that the way to be mevatel it, according to Beis Hillel, is either loosen it or remove one from the other. And Rav Meir holds that no, what do you have to do? Everyone holds you have to remove it. Beautiful pictures are coming up. Whereas that's how Shmuel will explain the Mishnah. So the quick sikkum before we start the new Mishnah is our Mishnah discusses a roof without plaster, boards. Is it kosher or not? Our Mishnah had a machlekes Rav Yehuda and Rav Meir. What is the machlekes Rav Yehuda and Rav Meir? 2 final answers. We'll say all 3 answers, including the Havamina. The first answer was the arguing about Gezeras Tikra by us, Gezeras Kalim in the previous Mishnah. That was the first answer. The second answer was everything is Gezeras Tikra. But what does our Mishnah add on? Our Mishnah adds on that Rav Yehuda brings Beis Hillel into the boxing ring. Whereas Rav Meir says there's no machlekes. The third answer is that according to Shmuel, what comes out is that the previous Mishnah was Gzeras Tikra, but our Mishnah is when it's above 4. And when it's above 4, we have a new machlekes about being mevatel the roof. That is Tav Tesvav Amid Aleph. And now we begin a new Mishnah, Chavra, everyone. Naya Mishnah, new Mishnah. Let's all get in it together. Are we all there? If you didn't understand this last part, hopefully we'll still get it. Yes? Batalina, whether we mevatel the roof. How can you be mevatel the roof? That's the machlekes. Bibitule tikra kamifligi. Mar savar Rav Yehuda holds batla bahachi. That the way to be mevatel it is, that's the machlekes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, whether shaking it is enough. And Rav Meir says no, that it's possible there's nothing you could do to fix it unless you take out all the planks according to everyone. Says the Mishnah. Says, let's learn 2 lines of Rashi. Everyone, I was nervous to lose everyone, but let's just do this together. Look at the last Rashi before the Mishnah, very wide lines, right? Rashi says, Bibitule Tikra. Everyone sees that Rashi? Let's spend 2 minutes learning that Rashi together before we move on. Says Rashi, Kiloimar. What does this mean? Amar lecha Shmuel. Shmuel is going to tell you. Lo'ilam b'shiyish ben arba. Really, our Mishnah is talking about that the roof, it is 4 tvachim. V'loi ha'isakan tikra mitchila. And there was not a roof. V'achshav hu ba l'sakich v'hu l'shem sukkah. And you're coming to create a sukkah. Afilu Rav Yehuda pasol. Even Rav Yehuda is a maskim, it's a problem. Why? Says Shmuel, because what does Shmuel hold once it's 4 tvachim? Guys, read on Misham Tikra. Aval hashta. So again, that's if you're coming to use 4 tefach planks. Shmuel says, everyone says it's a problem. But aval hashta de zu tikra, if you already have a roof, in Rashi, 3 lines before the Mishnah, and what are you doing? You're coming to fix the sukkah. If you're coming to fix the sukkah, what does that mean? You know there's a problem of Dasavlom and Asui. That is the machlekes pligi Rav Yehuda v'Rav Meir. Is there a gzeir? Rav Yehuda savar bibitulei tikra lebi Shammai. According to me, Shammai zarach lito mi bein time. You have to take one from the other. Diafal gam to mechiach shevki shavki she baki. That you are a baki, meaning that b'taslom and also you know what you're doing. Still gazriba, meaning you got to take one from the other, says Beis Shammai. But comes along Beis Hillel. What does Beis Hillel say? No. Beis Hillel savri kivan dibali voichiach shetikra psula. Sulekla makes sure it's all good. It's gzeres tassel manasli. All right, Meir savar lo nechlu v'af. So basically, what comes out is, according to Shmuel, if it was 4 tvachim, you can't build it. If it was already built, that's the machlekes. The Rav Yehuda says that machlekes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel tassel manasli, and Rav Meir says everyone holds up the Gezerah. Here we go. New Mishnah, the bottom of Daf Tes Vav. Hamikare sukasai bishvutin. If someone covers his sukkah, hamikare, a kir is a roof. Hamikare is you roof the house. You place a roof of your sukkah bishvutin with a shvud. What is a shvud? A metal stick. Shvudin. A shish kebab, yes. Baruchai samita. Or with pieces of a bed, the side planks of a bed. Now, what is the common denominator of these two items? They're both Mekabel Tama. Very good. The first because it's metal. The second because it is a keli. The problem is, if they're Mekabel Tama, what's the halacha? They are apostle from Schach. Excellent. So says the Gemara. So what do we do right now? Says the Gemara. If between these not kosher schach, if there is revach, a space, beineim, between them, kemaisan, like themselves, Kishera. Why? Because what do you put in between? Kosher schach. So if you have metal sticks with space in between, and you fill up that space with kosher schach, it's kosher. Case A of the Mishnah. Case number 2. Hachoitet begadish. If someone chisels out a haystack, to create a sukkah similar to the way you would make a igloo. How do we make an igloo? All the chaver that played in the snow yesterday, it's okay, it's good for us. What do? You make a big pile. Then what do? Yeah, we're doing it to play with the kids. No, we're doing it to play with ourselves. Because he's yelling at the kids. No, that's not how you make the snowman. You got to make them bigger. You got to have a perfect circle. Anyways, listen, we're all children. It's fine. But either way, what do? You have a big pile, and what do? You chisel out the inside. And that creates a little hut in there. So if you were to have a massive haystack, and you were to chisel out the inside, you'd have a miracle. You know what your miracle would be? You'd have a kosher sukkah, seemingly. Why? Because you have walls and you have a top, it should be good. Says the Mishnah, Einai Sukkah. 2 parts of the Mishnah. Part A, Reb Eli, are you with us? Part A, you have not kosher schach, that you fill it in between with kosher schach. God bless you. You fill it in between with kosher schach. Part B is you're chiseling out your haystack. Says the Gemara. Let's go into part A for a moment. What was part A again? Pasol schach, spaces, kosher schach. What does that sound like? That sounds like, what is going to be the story if your sukkah is going to be 50-50? 50% kosher, 50% puzzle. It sounds like from the Mishnah. I would love to show everyone a picture. You all understand what it is without the picture, but it's more fun to show with the picture. Okay, I can't find the picture. What up, okay, how do they not have a picture of this? Okay, it's more fun to show a picture. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah, what? If there's space in between them, what's the halacha? Kshera. Says the Gemara, lema. Let us suggest to have a tiyufta de Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua. That our Mishnah is a tiyufta, is a question on Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua. De it mar. That we learned. Parutz. Ke'oimid. Parutz means open, breached. Prutza is someone without clothing. They are open. They are breached. It is all the same word. Parutz. If you have an opening, you have a gap. Ke'oimid. Equivalent to the part that is oimid, that is standing, which in English means 50% wall, 50% opening. Parutz, open, ke'oi, made, like the wall. What is the halacha? Rav Papa Amar, says Rav Papa, mutter. Now this actually, what is this halacha in reference to? We say halacha in reference to Shabbos. Very good. We're discussing over here making a fence to be able to carry on Shabbos. So what happens if I have a lot of holes in my fence? Well, the truth is, any slatted fence is mamish this discussion. Just your slatted fence with holes in between, we hope, have more slats than holes. That's the way they're supposed to be made. But it happens to be, though, the white ones with the guys up thing, I think it's actually pretty close. And no one knows what I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about? The white guys. There's two types. One is you don't see through it all, and the other one is just like the thin bars. So either way, if it's 50-50, what's the halach? Rav Papa says it's muta. It's a good wall. Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua Amar, 2 lines from the bottom. Was? By fences, it won't be an issue, but full enclosure. Yeah, nami. We're talking about here. Yeah, fourth wall, different Sachen like that. So Rashi gets involved. Let's stay out of the Irving because we all get scared when we mention such words. Rav Papa Amar Mutter. Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua Amar Aser. So says the Gemara, our Mishnah is a question on Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua. Because Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua just taught us 50-50 is Aser. In the world of Shabbos, what does that mean? That means we view it that there's not a wall. So by us, 50-50 should be problem, which should mean it's not schach. Answers the Gemara. Don't think too hard. You're thinking about like Yishmaka Terutzim. The Gemara's Teretz is not one of those. My Kemaisan. What did the Mishnah mean when it said that the space between the slats, the space between the not kosher schach is Kemaisan? Well, we translated it literally, Rabbi. It means like itself. 50-50. Says Gemara, no, it's not what it means. Kemaisa means binichnas v'yoytze, a little bit bigger. If you want to have enough room to put something in between, you want it a little bit bigger, the space. So if the hole is a little bit bigger, what does that mean? That means that your sum total is what? We'll just use exaggerated terms. 60-40, 60% kosher schach, because there were 60% holes, which you filled up with schach. Ask the Gemara on the top of Tezvav Amid Bey. No. The holes are bigger, but you're filling up the hole with kosher schach. No, that's exactly what we're talking about the whole time. If it's 50-50, then you have 50% kosher schach, 50% basel schach. Ask the Gemara, that's a kasher of Huna b'rei Rav Yeshua. With regard to Shabbos, a hole means no wall. By us, it's not the hole that's the problem, it's the basel schach that's the problem. So if I have 50... The basel schach is non-hole part. Not is where the port is. That's the basel schach. So the bigger the hole, Kasher correct. So that's is the teretz. No, so but by Shabbos it's the opposite. The holes of the problem. Correct. We're not answering. We're not answering for Shabbos. We're answering in our Mishnah when it said Kimaisan, when it said that the spaces are equal to the schach. Very good. Very good. That's the teretz. That the spaces are bigger, which means you have more kosher schach. Ask the Gemara, these Gemaras are the raya that if anyone has ever gotten yelled at by a Rebbe for asking a stupid question, then that Rebbe should be fired. Because what does the Gemara now ask? But Rebbe, what do you mean? Why are you telling me that the space is a little bit bigger? You could have measured it. Rebbe, you could have just pulled a tape measure. It's usually where the Rebbe slaps you across the face and says, get out of here. What do you mean? The Gemara said this. What are you asking questions? Guess what? The Gemara asked the question. And the Gemara says, what do you mean? V'efshar l'samseim. Says the Gemara, Rav Ami, b'ma'adif, where you made it a little bit bigger. You made it bigger. Could you have been mitzamsein? Maybe. Now, it's as you could see from the absolute sea of Rashi and Taisus over here. There's a little bit more going on here, which maybe we'll explain more tomorrow. But for just Pashib Shat, the kasha is, why are you telling me it's a little bit bigger? You could have made it equal. And the answer is you didn't. Rava has a second teretz. Afilu teima b'she'ein ma'adif. Adif, from being oidef, more. Says Rava, even if it's not more. Im hayanisunim shasi. Noisnin arev. Arev noisnin shasi. Says the Gemara, you know what the case is? That if the schach were this way, you filled it up that way. It's going the opposite way. Now, how did that answer the question is a very good question. Does anyone know how that answers the question? I'll show you the picture first.
Then you have Rav Schach.
Why do you have Rav Kasher Schach?
Because of the whole sukkah.
Why does it fall? Oh, no. Oh, so how are you learning? Good. There's a big machlek is how to learn this line. You're learning it's going across the whole thing. Good. But that's, I think, one way to learn. I think the other way to learn is that just physics will call it. To get schach to sit this way, they have to overlap a drop. Right. So if they're going to overlap a drop, that's going to give you more. Let's just show a picture, and then we're going to call it a day. Yeah, okay, this is impossible to see, but I'll show it anyways. Here we go. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm doing this. This is an absolute bracha levatala. Absolute bracha levatala. And it's fuzzy. You have zero clue what I'm doing right now. Okay, you might as well just pick your nose right now because you can't see anything. But you can look over here. Over here you see that it has to be a little bigger. Chavra will pick it up from here tonight. A good night.